How can you increase the chances of getting any offer accepted in any market? All right, welcome back to another video. If you don't know me, I'm Luis Bruno. I am a realtor down here in Savannah, Georgia. And the whole point of this video, guys, is to let you know and show you what are the elements of an offer and how can you play around with those elements to either make it work for you or against you. So when you're trying to write up an offer for a house, whether you're a real estate agent or possibly you're doing it on your own with a for sale by owner, it works the same way. And what I mean by that is that you need to be aware of the same three things. There are certain numbers that need to increase in order for you to increase your chances of getting an offer accepted. There are other numbers that need to go down as close to zero as possible, right? That's number two. And number three, there are certain things that are completely out of your control. So number one, you have the numbers that need to increase. Number two, the numbers that need to decrease as close to zero as possible. And number three, the things that you have absolutely zero control of. Now, before I go over that, I wanted to let you know this. At the end of this video, I will explain to you how to know if you're making the right decision or not based on whatever market you're in. Because remember, this video applies for any market. Now, I want to teach you what I know. That way you know if you're making the right decision or not. All right, so let's start. Number one, what are the elements, aka the numbers that you need to increase in order to improve your chances of getting an offer accepted? Number one is the price. How much are you offering the owner of the home? Number two, the deposit. How much are you offering the owner to take the property off the market for you? And I'm telling you, people get so confused with this. What is the earnest money for? It is your way of telling the owner, hey, I'm being serious about this offer. I'm willing to give you $3,000 so you can take the property off the market and don't sell it to anybody else. Okay? I'm willing to give you $5,000. I'm willing to give you $7,000. Let's say, for example, that you and me like the same home. You're offering $400,000 for the home, even if the home is listed for $390,000, and I'm offering $400,000 for the home, just like you are. But you're only giving $1,000 of earnest money deposit, and I'm willing to give $10,000. I'm willing to give $8,000. Which person is willing to take more risk, you or me? So I'm willing to take more risk, and I'm letting the seller know about that. I'm letting the seller know, hey, I'm willing to give you $8,000 if you take the property off the market and don't sell it to anybody else. That is what the deposit is for. After that, obviously the deposit will be used for closing costs, but that is not the point of this video. So those are the first two items. Remember that. The price and the earnest money deposit. Number two, what are the numbers that you need to decrease so you can improve your chances of getting an offer accepted, right? Now, just so you know, before I start talking about this, you have to stay within the range of normality and possibilities. Let me give you an example. The closing date. If you're buying the same house, we're making an offer on the same house, and you're offering the same price that I am, but you're asking for 60 days of closing date, and then I'm offering 28-day closing date, right? Which one do you think looks more attractive for the seller? Do you want to wait 2 more months to finally get paid, or would you rather get paid in 28 days? Make sense? Now, 28 days is not close to zero, but it is within the range of normality, right? On the other hand, somebody can make the same exact offer that I'm making, and they're asking for a 3-day closing date. And guess what? It's probably impossible to close within 3 days. Does that make sense? So yes, you have to stay as close to zero as possible, but you have to stay within the range of normality, possibility, right? You're not gonna ask somebody to pack everything they have on their house and get out of the house and move within 2 days. It's not gonna happen. So the closing day is one of the elements that you need to try to decrease when it comes to those numbers, right? The number two on this category would be the expiration date. So basically, how many days are you giving the seller? How many days are you giving the owner of the home to answer to your offer, to reply to your offer? Are you giving them 5 days? Or are you giving them 3? Are you giving them 2? Now, let me give you another example. You have to be reasonable. You have to be within the range of normality. You're not going to make an offer at 9 o'clock in the morning and make it expire at 11 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because people have things to do. People have work to do, right? If the seller is at work and they get out at 5, at least give them a chance to review your offer. So again, yes, you have to stay as close to 0 as possible. Keep in mind that you have to stay within the range of normality. So number 3 on those numbers that you need to decrease, and I'm talking about closing costs. This is the most common question. Can I make the closing costs part of my loan? The answer is no, you cannot. All right, I'm gonna make a separate video about that because that's not the point of this. But the closing costs are you paying the title company or the real estate attorney. In the state of Georgia, we do closing with real estate attorney. In other states, they do it with title companies. So basically, the closing costs are for paying the title company, paying your taxes, paying your lender, and all of that, okay? So no, you cannot finance that because that is you paying for the service, okay? Now, let me give you the same example. If you and I are making the same exact offer, but the only difference is that you're asking the seller to pay $5,000 towards closing costs, and I'm asking them to pay nothing. Who do you think has a better chance of getting an offer accepted? It's pretty obvious, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Closing costs are one of those things that you want to decrease as close to 0 as possible if you want to improve your chances of getting an offer accepted. By the way, guys, before I continue with the video, if you speak Spanish and you like personal development, let me tell you, I have a podcast with my brother. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. We have over 200 episodes. We also are on TikTok. We have over 36,000 followers on TikTok and over 5,000 on Instagram. So find me there. Let's talk and let's get back to the video. All right, number 4, the due diligence period. Some people call it the inspection period. This is basically the amount of days that you're asking the seller to give you so you can go ahead and inspect the property, right? You can inspect the condition of the property, the plumbing, the electrical, the roof. You can walk around it. You can just drive through the neighborhood at night. You can do whatever the hell you want to do, right? So how many days do you need for that? Let me tell you this. This is one of the things that you need to keep as close to 0 as possible, especially on a seller's market, okay? But it has to be doable. So what is normal? I think normal would be like 5, 6, 7 days. Now, if you want to keep it tight, make it even better, you can do 3, even 2 days if you know the home is in good condition, right? Now, before you do that, let me tell you this. If you're trying to write up an offer, before you do that, make sure you call the inspector before you write up the offer. This is what I do with my clients. I call the inspector. I say, hey, I'm about to make an offer on this home. The offer looks pretty good, so we have a very good chance of maybe getting the offer accepted. If that's the case, are you able to do an inspection tomorrow at whatever time? Or are you able to do an inspection within 3 days? If they say no, I call somebody else until I find somebody that is able and have the schedule open to make an inspection within 2 days. Why? Because you don't want to ask the seller, hey, you know what? I know you got 5 offers, but I'm willing to give you the same, but I'm only going to ask for 2 days of inspection period, 2 days. So they accept the offer, and now you don't know what to do. Now you don't have anybody to do any inspection because everybody's busy. Maybe they accepted the offer on a Friday, and nobody's available Saturday or Sunday. So what are you going to do, right? Are you going to inspect the property yourself? Probably not. So that's why you need to avoid this huge mistake. All right, number 5 and 6 are related to the same thing, meaning the financing contingency. This does not apply if you're using cash, all right? It doesn't apply if you're using cash. Most transactions are done with a lender. Now, the lender will send somebody to find out if the home is worth what you're paying for it, okay? Now, you need to disclose that on the offer. You need to disclose to the seller, the owner of the home, you need to tell them, I'm using financing, and this is the amount of days that I need to get everything done. Now, how do you know what normal is? So that depends on your lender. Some lenders work a lot faster than others. At least in my market, normal would be 12 days, 14 days. A lot of people ask for 21 days, which is insane. I don't know why, right? Because you don't have much control over it. You can have all of your documents ready, but if your lender takes 2 weeks to review the documents, what can you do about it, right? So are you going to tell the seller, hey, for my financing contingency, right? The amount of days that I need is only 3 days. And guess what? It's not going to happen. You're pretty much shooting yourself on the foot. So what is normal? What is considered too tight? And what is considered way too much? To me, this is my opinion. Again, you have to talk to your lender first. If you want to keep it super tight and say, hey, can we get everything done in 10 days? That is something that you should ask before you make the offer. Before you make the offer. It's just the same with the example that I made with the inspector. You have to tell the lender, hey, I'm going to be writing up offer. I'm actively looking at homes. I wanted to find out how quickly can you get things done. Because if they say, hey, the appraisals are taking 14, 15 days and there's nothing we can do about that, honestly, then guess what? You have to stay within that limit in order for you to, to stay on track with all the agreement. All right, so just to recap, we talk about the price, we talk about the earnest money, we talk about closing day, we talk about expiration day, we talk about inspection period, we talk about financing contingency and appraisal contingency, right? Some of those things you don't have much control of, which is basically the closing day, the financing contingency, right? The appraisal contingency. Those are things that are done by a third party, including the inspection. Okay, so be aware of that and realize that, yes, you can ask for as close to zero as possible, but you have to ask first if it's doable. Okay, so that is the rule number one. Is it doable, yes or no? Now, let's talk about how to know if you're making a good decision based on the market that you are right now. So even if you're watching this video 2 years after, how do you know if you're making the right type of offers based on the market, the home, and a certain other things that I'm about to explain? So let's get into that. So here's the decision-making process that you need to go through in order to know if you're making the right offer based on your situation. Number one, what type of market are you in? Number two, how many days have the property been on the market? Number three, how many offers do they have on the table right now? Number four, how capable are you of making that offer that you have in your mind? Number five, how willing are you? Meaning, how much do you like it? How bad do you want that property? Right? So that's the 5 elements. Let's talk about number one of the decision-making process, the type of market. There's only 3 types. You have the buyer's market, you have the seller's market, and you have the balanced market. Now, if you're a buyer watching this, if you are on a buyer's market, which is anywhere within more than 6 months of inventory, you can just ask your real estate agent. Just call them. Say, hey, what type of market are we in? And they will let you know, okay? So if you are on a buyer's market, all you need to do is find out, okay, the numbers that need to increase, they don't need to increase that much. The numbers that need to decrease, they don't have to decrease that much. Why? Because you have the advantage. We are on a buyer's market at that point. Now let's talk about a seller's market. Seller's market, every number that needs to increase, you need to stretch it as much as possible within your limit of capability. And then the numbers that need to decrease, you need to decrease it as much as possible within the range of normality, right? That's how you act. That's how you act on those type of market. Now, on a balanced market, again, you can either find out or you need to just pay attention to the other elements that I'm about to tell you and then make a decision. So the number 2 on the decision-making process, just to know if you're making the right decision or not, is how many days have that property been on the market, right? You see a property, you want to make an offer on it, but all of a sudden you realize that the property only came on the market yesterday. Even if you are on a buyer's market, or even if you are on a balanced market, if you go very low on your offer, they probably are going to reject it. Why? Because the property has been on the market for 1 day. Makes sense? It's only been on the market for 1 day. So it's not the same as making the same exact offer on a home that have been on the property for 60, 90, 120 days. Makes sense? So the days on the market matters a lot. It's very hard to get an offer accepted if the property came on the market today and you're making a lowball offer today. Make sense? Now, number 3, how many offers do they have on the table right now? Now, at least in Georgia, right, people have to be honest. When it comes to real estate agent, they have to be honest. If you're doing this with a for sale by owner, they might lie to you. They might say, hey, I have 3 offers on the table right now. But guess what? Let me ask you this. Do you really believe that he has 3 offers on the table if the property has been on the market for 60 days? Probably not. It's probably lying to you. Now, if the property has only been on the market for 6, 5, 4 days, yes, it's possible, right? So the amount of offers is something that the real estate agents need to disclose. Now, they don't need to disclose any details on the offers, but yes, they're willing to say, hey, I got 3 offers on the table. So if you want to submit one, do it before the end of the day because we're going to make a decision. Make sense? So how many offers do they have at the moment? My question to you, are you going to send a lowball offer knowing that they already have 5, 6, 7 offers? Because if you do, you're probably making the wrong type of offer. Make sense? If a property already has 7, 8 offers, and you're trying to just make a lowball offer, asking for a bunch of closing costs and asking for a lot of days of whatever, it's just a bad offer, man. You're making a bad decision at that point. Now, number 4, how capable are you? And what I mean by this is not only financially, but actually on coordinating the move. Let's say you're renting and your lease expired on the 30th of this month. Are you willing and able and capable of just moving earlier, paying maybe a penalty, maybe staying at a hotel for 2 weeks? Are you capable of doing that? Because if the answer is no, then why would you ask for a 21-day closing day? You are not capable of doing it. Make sense? So you're making the bad decision if you're asking for a closing day that is going to get you in trouble. So I'm helping you make better decisions with this video. So how capable are you? Just think about all the dates, the timelines, your financial situation, and all of that. And number 5, and the last one, how willing are you? Meaning, how bad do you want it? How much do you like and love this home? How would you feel if knowing that you could have made a way better offer, you didn't do it? Would you feel mad that your agent called you the next day and tell you, hey, they accepted another offer? Actually, the home went under contract for $2,000 more than you offered. Would you be mad about that? Because if you would be mad, that means that maybe you should offer a little bit more, right? So how willing are you? It's not the same capability and willingness. Yes, maybe you can offer more, but you don't even like that home that much. I mean, you kind of like it and it's good, but it's not like you extremely love it, okay? That's what I mean by that. So how willing are you? Okay, so always remember that. Number 1, what type of market are we in? Number 2, how many days have the property been on the market? Number 3, how many offers do they have on the table right now? Number 4, how capable are you of making that type of offer that you have in your mind? And number 5, how willing are you? How much do you like it? How bad do you want it? That's number 5. Anyway, guys, that is it. I hope that makes you make better decisions when you're making an offer. And I'll see you next time. Take care.